Welcome, everybody. We're going to go ahead and give everybody 1 or 2 minutes to join, as I see more folks are joining every couple of seconds. We'll go ahead and get started in about 1 more minute. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Immersion Day on RPA and Invisible Automation. We're so glad to have you and that you guys have decided to join us virtually. We're excited to share some great information in two presentations today. A few general housekeeping items for this webinar that I'd like to point out to you guys are the Q&A feature. Please use this for specific questions. We've set aside some time throughout the presentation to address any backlog of questions there. We will not be answering questions through the chat feature. Please only use that if you are experiencing any kind of technical difficulties or other issues. If you do have any other difficulties, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. I'm also going to put that in the chat for you guys to have access to. You'll receive lab instructions and Grubhub gift cards around noon, about halfway through. And then what we'll do is go ahead and get started, take a look at the agenda. So to start, we're going to go through a brief introduction into Idexcel, and then we're going to move on to the presentation by Ganesh from Automation Anywhere on the future of work and digital transformation. The second presentation will be on the history of RPA, followed by an overview of our invisible automation solution. And then after that, we're going to do a lab session on building bots, as well as a demo. So a little background so you can get to know us a little bit better. Idexcel is a professional services and technology solutions provider headquartered in Herndon, Virginia. We've got over 20 years experience implementing complex technologies. We're also an AWS exclusive partner specializing in artificial intelligence, data services, cloud services, and machine learning for both the public sector and commercial. We have over 100 AWS certified cloud practitioners on our team, and we also hold various competencies within the AWS ecosystem. As an advanced AWS partner and AWS reseller, Idexcel is focused on supporting the AWS cloud. We've achieved competencies in migration, DevOps, financial services, and we're also expecting 2 more by the end of this year that we're really excited about. As a public sector partner, we are authorized to resell and service the AWS GovCloud, and we're also a preferred partner for the Well-Architected Framework program. So as you can see on this slide, we specialize in 4 core service areas with extensive expertise in migration, machine learning, cloud native services, and data modernization. So now let's get to know our speakers a little bit. Ganesh Sigarajan, I hope I didn't butcher that too bad, is the VP of Global Cloud Channels at Automation Anywhere and leads the adoption of the digital workforce. He'll be presenting on the future of work and digital transformation. Vish leads Idexcel's AI and automation practice. He'll be leading the second presentation on the history of RPA as well as the introduction into Idexcel's invisible automation solution. Before we get started, we've actually got a poll for you all to participate in. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this, and you'll see it on the screen. And it's a question about, are you currently implementing any kind of automation solution in your organization currently? About 20 more seconds for everybody to participate, and I'll let you guys know what the results are. All right, I'm going to end the poll in about 10 seconds. Great. Thank you, guys. So 17% of you are implementing, yes, and then 83% are not. So thank you guys for participating. We're going to go ahead and also do the second poll, which is a little bit more specific. For those of you, or it'll actually be the couple of you that responded yes, we're interested to see if you are using any of these specific technologies or tools. We'll give about 15 more seconds on this one. All right, going to end the poll. Now, so this is pretty interesting. 75% are using UiPath, 25% Blue Prism, and then a couple of folks as well, 75% are also using other. So I'm guessing there were multiple tools in play there. Thank you all so much. And now I will hand it over to Ganesh for the future of work and digital transformation.
Thank you, Megan. I'm just going to share my screen. I'm just hoping everybody can see this.
We can see it.
Thanks again.
So
and yeah, it's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Like Megan said, I'm Ganesh Tyagarajan. I lead the Cloud Channels practice at Automation Anywhere. So the focus for today's discussion mainly is about the future of work and digital transformation, during which I'll give you a generic overview of RPA, Robotic Process Automation, which really aids digital transformation as such. So if you really talk to any business leader today, right, so they'll tell you that a business is always about people. It's people to people connecting with each other, me knowing the company knowing me, the companies that I work with as a customer, the customer knowing me, for example. Think about it, right? Years ago, that's how we interacted with every single business. We knew them, they knew us. It was all very well personalized. Then came many industrial revolutions, and scale was really brought into our lives. It was just an amazing era. It created everything about us, everything around us. Hundreds of products which were developed at large scale, delivered worldwide at a highest level of quality in a common, consistent fashion. Think about it now. These two trends are actually merging. So digital native companies like Amazon and Airbnb, Uber, for example, are merging these two together. It's actually coming together like a full circle, right? So I expect a large enterprise really to act small, or like a medium enterprise, for example, and to know me that well. So for example, if I go to a Starbucks today, right, I expect them to know what my favorite cup of coffee is. And if I just sign into Amazon, I expect them to tell me what my wife is currently thinking. So it's now easy for digital native companies to actually bring these together. So now how about companies that have been operating, let's say, for about 30 to 50 years, right? So how do you really overcome this paradox? What can they really do? What they are trying to do is to create a man and machine combination, which is extremely critical in this day and age. They're trying to replicate the human plus digital worker combination in all our enterprises, in our offices, for example. What does that mean? It actually means a human being and digital worker can actually come together to create an ultra productive workforce that allows you to scale digitally, yet keep giving Amazon like customer delight. They're actually trying to create and achieve a digital enterprise. Now, what is a digital enterprise? If I'm actually holding a baseball bat in my hand, right, it just does not make me a baseball player. If I'm running 2 to 3 digital workers or bots, it just doesn't make me a digital enterprise. Or for example, if I have a mobile app for my customers, it just doesn't make me a digital enterprise if my engine room is still running manually. So for a digital enterprise, the operations have to be digital, right? So for operations to be digital, processes have to be digital. And for that, the foundation is the intelligent digital workforce. So the intelligent digital workforce is really a combination of 3 real technologies, which we coined about 14, 15 years ago. It's a combination of robotic process automation plus artificial intelligence using cognitive technology plus analytics. It actually allows you to automate every process in your organization, whether it's your front office or your back office, for example. It also makes it economically viable to automate any process in this part or any part of the world, which means it is cheaper to automate in any part of the world rather than just do it manually. So let me just walk you through on some very interesting facts. So did you actually know that since 2000, or 20 years ago, right, 52% of Fortune 500 companies are no longer around, right? They're just simply gone. Many were either acquired by large, more aggressive companies to really be sure. Others were replaced by companies that disrupted them with more innovative business models. In fact, we've actually seen the lifespan of companies decline from an average of, let's say, 60 years back in the 50s to about 15 years today. Now, what is this really attributed to? This is really attributed to a large part of disruption. And what does that disruption really mean? So these large companies essentially have been disrupted by digital native companies with efficient business models, greater agility, and a superior customer experience. So some of these companies have had the advantage of starting with, let's say, a blank sheet of paper and build processes and systems designed for today's world. I spoke earlier about Uber and Airbnb, for example, but they're not stopping right here, right? They're actually automating at an incredible pace. Many of these guys are actually Automation Anywhere's customers today. So let's really look at automation as a domain. Now, if automation is really the answer in this day and age, it is still very, very difficult for enterprises to automate today. The reason is because most enterprise companies have extremely siloed front office, back office, employee productivity, IT systems that were never really designed to work together. That's how these large enterprises still behave. For example, some of these enterprises have an average of 1,500 applications alone. And trust me, that is true. And large organizations today, of course, have apps numbering in tens of thousands, really. So if you really look at the front office, right, systems like, let's say, Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics are really designed to increase customer satisfaction. If you move to the back office, systems of record, really, right, SAP, Workday, are really built to increase business efficiency. And what do employees really use, like yourselves, right? You probably use Office 365, you use G Suite, and it really empowers you to make your own personal workflows. But the challenge here is that all these systems are not connected out of the box. So employees really have to bridge the gap between these systems, losing valuable productivity cycles, generates really low job satisfaction. Well, you have a lot of point solutions that will help you with parts of the process, let's say in the back office or in the front office, for example. But only an end-to-end automation solution like what Automation Anywhere provides today will really help you break down the silos. So you can actually get started with any process knowing that you can grow into a fully automated enterprise and probably bridge the gap between the front office, back office, and all employees, really. Now, while a point RPA product, and like you, Megan, indicated, quite a few of you are using UiPath, you're using other solutions. Some point RPA products will get you started, but you can only solve the digital enterprise challenge by recreating the very same technology silos that RPA is supposed to resolve. So we believe a single platform like ours, which will ultimately prevail, and it's already starting to show that results, because you can start small in your enterprise, grow, And you will actually know that you never need to create silos. And that's the power of the digital workforce. And that's the future of work. It really involves robotic process automation, artificial intelligence, and the power of analytics, along with discovering processes that can be automated, which I'll talk about it in a second. And nobody has that today other than us. Now, one of the approaches of implementing a digital workforce really is to democratize it. And we at Automation Anywhere believe that human beings and digital workers side by side produce fantastic results. So at Automation Anywhere, we believe that to be a digital enterprise, like I indicated earlier, you need digitized processes. And a digital workforce really complements your human workforce in your enterprise. Now, complement is a very important word because despite concerns about artificial intelligence, whether it's ethical or not, and automation, but we believe very strongly that digital workers should complement the strengths of people. Now, digital workers transcend robotic process automation, for example. Their core attributes are bots that are intelligent. They use artificial intelligence to learn and improve over time. They use analytics to ensure that their work is effective. And like I mentioned, you got to be able to discover processes in an enterprise that can benefit from the digital workforce. Now, people's core attributes really feature creativity, connecting dots, building strong relationships, for example, having empathy, compassion like you really do in your workforce and enterprises today. Now, let's just see how do these core attributes really manifest into business skills, right? Now, let's use a common critical business process, for example, which you would probably use. Take an example of, let's say, quote to cash. As an example that really illustrates the challenges we face today in delivering our products and services to your customers. So if you really look at it at your enterprise, there are a ton of swim lanes required, right? Different teams, quite often siloed, that are really responsible for moving one part of the process along. Now, within each of these swim lanes are specialized apps. They can be third-party apps, Adobe, SaaS applications, for example, on-prem applications. You also have people working across these swim lanes. What does this process really look like? And I'm just trying to demonstrate that. The challenge we face is that if not many, most critical business processes like this do not make it end-to-end successfully. Some companies call this the happy path, or at the times when a process successfully runs from beginning to the end. There are places in the process, like I just showed you, especially when we need to transfer information from one application to the next, you absolutely need human intervention. And along the way, we experience errors like you just saw that get introduced that require going back and forth to fix or to rework. And errors and stuff takes days to fix. Now, what if we could really simplify that complex process, prone to errors and rework into a simplified, automated, and a fast one? And that's the value proposition of the digital workforce. At Automation Anywhere, we place bots side by side with existing people. These bots learn, take over all of the mundane tasks that are prone to error and rework. Now, with really digital workers in place, your processes really are much more efficient. You can now successfully fly through points that were problem areas before. So what this does is the Automation Anywhere digital workforce accelerates time to get through each of these swim lanes to deliver our entire digital workforce in record time. So what took you 30 days could take you 5 days. Now, just imagine what those benefits could be, right? To your own organization, to your own customers. Now, the Automation Anywhere virtuous cycle really is coined for the digital workforce, and that's the future of work that we are trying to redefine. And by recreating a simplified, repeatable process that covers major aspects of bringing automation to life, your chances of scaling your efforts dramatically increase. Now, what it does, it also dramatically increases your chances of seeing value in a shorter time frame. Now, this cycle really unlocks value as customers scale your digital workforces, right? So whether you're really looking, let's say, for a simple return on investment or speed, if that's your objective, it actually seems that automation addresses most of it, if not all. And we believe it truly puts transformation into digital transformation. So in addition to return on investment, right, the Automation Anywhere platform delivers a large number of organizational benefits. It reduces cost by, let's say, reducing human labor on mundane tasks. It helps you refocus your own effort on high value efforts, and that's what you're born to be. Secondly, it speeds things up. Your processes get faster, as I just showed you. Throughput really increases. It eliminates potential security and compliance concerns in a lot of these enterprises. Helps reduce fraud and error rates. And it all accrues to delivering better customer experiences, right? That's the common objective. That's the end goal. You got to think about your end customers. So you got to have a digital workforce that unlocks new potential and opportunities for delivering value to your customers. And most of our customers today get rapid payback in investment, typically in less than a year, maybe sometimes quicker. So the virtuous cycle, like I spoke about, right, enables any organization to capitalize on the benefits of automation. And that's where we come in: structured data, robotic process automation, semi-structured, unstructured data with artificial intelligence. That's where our cognitive offering comes in, along with advanced analytics as well. And we launched something called Process Discovery 4 months ago, which we now have the ability to determine which processes in your own organization really are the best candidates for automation, and what are their projected return on investments. And the automatic construction of these digital workers really is priceless. If you really look at the area of capture, right, that's where our cognitive abilities come into the picture. The key aspect here is to really understand data. That's the ability to recognize unstructured and semi-structured data and pulling it into the platform for use. Now, this is the world of IQ bots, our leading intelligent document processing solution, and very much suitable for repeatable processes. If you look at our core automation platform, we really look at it as attended or unattended automation, or that depends on whether you need to be in the loop of a bot that's actually running. Security really comes into play here, as well as governance. It's a must-have for enterprise-grade automation strategies. And finally, it's the ability to tune and optimize over time. We've natively built our own analytics platform, which helps business owners understand how processes are really performing. And it helps IT understand how the platform's performing. That's really operational insights. Now, the most comprehensive digital workforce platform that we today have and offer to more than 3,500 customers in the industry is also combined with our own marketplace, which is called our own bot store, along with our own plugins called productivity packs. So you can now download a digital worker, for example, from a marketplace, from our own bot store for a specific application, or you can now invoke our own digital workers directly, let's say from a Microsoft Excel, or the entire Office 365 suite, or if you're using Salesforce, we have plugins available and you can just invoke the digital workers from any of your productivity packs that you actually use. Now, the delivery is completely seamless. You can implement the product and platform on-prem or through the cloud, which I'll touch upon in a second. Now, the cloud really matters today more than ever, right? We're in the middle of a pandemic. So Cisco really came out with a report earlier, which indicated by the end of 2021, 95% of all cloud workloads on the current cloud platforms will be SaaS, right? And RPA is no different. So setting up a digital workforce on the cloud really offers a variety of benefits. Think about it. In this day and age, well, technology is at its highest levels now. All you need is a browser. And you should be well on your way to getting started, building bots and digital workers with just a single click. And cloud-based platforms exactly do that. But one of the most important aspects of implementing the digital workforce on the cloud is the total cost of ownership, where enterprises, large or small, really don't need to worry about investing in additional infrastructure. And of course, you really don't need to have IT to worry about maintenance cost as well. So your overall TCO, your total cost of ownership, is extremely low. Now, it is extremely easy, simple to adopt the digital workforce on the cloud, where you don't really need to spend any time on installation. And let's say if you're trying to onboard your own users, you could have business users, also called citizen developers. You could just be a developer yourself, or simply IT. It is extremely way too straightforward and simple. And if you really look at IT, you don't really have to worry about business continuity as well, which is very important in this time of crisis that we are in. And that's where the cloud brings in enormous advantages, excuse me. So if you're helping your customers scale your own RPA journey, for example, if you're a partner, the cloud option offers you immense scalability, and it's just not limited by infrastructure as well. So like I said, all you need now is just simple, plain internet connectivity, very similar to how you would access your any other application today. And all you need is just a device. Could be an iPad, could be a mobile, could be a desktop, could just simply a laptop. Now, I spoke about the total cost of ownership a little earlier, right? And that's a key advantage of deploying the digital workforce on the cloud. One of our partners actually conducted a study on the TCO aspects in comparison with other products that is available in the market today, and some of you are using that today, and found that our offering was much more economical than the nearest competition. So automation really is proven to create efficiencies, leading to increasing in savings, of course, and management overhead really year over year that really delivers an ROI of, let's say, close to a couple of dollars for every dollar that you invest in an automation program. And moreover, if you're running this in the cloud, it further optimizes infrastructure and maintenance costs, and that leads to a real TCO reduction between 20 to 27% on top of the automation ROI year on year. And that is significant advantages today. No, but all this is great, but enterprises always have a question on their mind. How do you really create a program that can scale? The true test of transformation for an enterprise is really using technology that helps you scale. Now, scale is a litmus test. So we've been at Automation Anywhere, we've been very fortunate to work with many customers worldwide. And we've partnered with many firms in their journey in becoming a digital enterprise. We've actually been very fortunate to learn from a lot of them in the last 15 years. And some of their learnings really involve the mindset that you need to have. It's about thinking big, start now, and scale fast. Why now? Because you need to put the DNA of the program in the first year that allows you to really remove friction. So for us, the real blueprint that we've implemented for more than 4,000 enterprise customers globally really involves a great approach, uh, good operating models, the right team, and having the right set of levers. So now let's look at the approach, right? So you need to really start with a headline. You need to share the headline with the team, let's say your board, your CEO, your COO, etc. And that mission and the approach and the headline, if a year later you've delivered the headline really, then you're successful. So we've been lucky enough with all our customers, and we've seen enterprises implement three types of approaches, and maybe you have as well. We have some enterprises which really started out with just one function, few processes, which could be mission critical, could have high ROI that's expected out of it, a combination of the entire digital workforce. But they just start small, right? It's about making sure it's one process, one function at a time. And that's a great approach. And we have a lot of enterprises who work with us today where democratization of RP is extremely important. And their mission really is to empower half their employees on day one with a digital colleague. Start with simple processes, help improve productivity. Think automation, it has to be in the DNA of everyone using the digital workforce. It's a fantastic model as well. And finally, we have a third of our enterprises really who have some sort of a vision on day one is to really create a massive capacity using the digital workforce right on day one. They want to really carpet bomb automation in the entire enterprise, look at all processes, start transformation on day one. Why wait? It's about implementing the entire digital workforce, start doing it on day one. And we have a lot of enterprises in that journey as well. Now, using one of the models that I spoke about, right, the biggest names across many industries that have transformed their businesses with Automation Anywhere, you can see for yourself. Some of our customers progress, some of them have started, some of them have scaled, some of them have really gone through transformation. So Goldman Sachs, AT&T, Bosch, for example, have transformed their organizations and have really realized significant value in the three approaches that I just walked you through. So we looked at the approach. So let's look at the operating models when you really look at automating most of your processes and implementing the digital workforce. So from an operating model perspective, right, there are clear roles and responsibilities that you need to really look through. It's all about setting up the right center of excellence. Whether you started out within the first model that I spoke about, it could be within your own division, it could be within your own shared function. It allows you to be very quick. It allows you to start extremely quicker. You could potentially realize your ROI very quickly. But the drawback here is it could have a fragmented approach, use of people probably, not great standards. Some of our customers really use a center of excellence in a very centralized manner. It could be a shared service where you really offer automation from an end-to-end perspective. But the problem here is it actually slows down the entire automation program in the enterprise at scale. And what we recommend is a federated model, right? It gives you a centralized standards. The localized ownership is with the BU. It's extremely scalable. There's a central team that helps you with it. It's extremely agile. And a federated structure really works pretty well in a lot of enterprises from an operating model perspective. Now, the federated operating model, let me just dwell upon it a little more. Definitely yields the best results. There's a clear segregation of duties between the global center of excellence that's set up, between the business unit, for example, and the vendor like us, right? If you look at Automation Anywhere, we bring in great technology, fantastic upgrades on-prem and cloud. We have a great customer success program, which helps you scale. I'll talk about that in a second. The global center of excellence in every enterprise takes our digital workforce and makes sure that there is enough standards that are set from a technology perspective. The business units really define process pipelines. They help in design and development of these bots. They help in making sure that everything goes live. And they're self-sufficient to offer level 1 and level 2 for themselves to just make sure that the platform just is humming and running all the time. So we've seen the approach of the blueprint. We've seen operating models that typically enterprises use as part of the blueprint. Now let's look at teams. Let's look at the teams that really enterprises set up when they actually implement the digital workforce. So this is important because this is a combination of new roles that we've actually helped create along with the digital workers, right? So building the right teams is extremely critical in a transformation journey at an enterprise. The good part is that there are so many new roles that are actually getting created by the use of this technology. Obviously, there are new roles. You just cannot go into LinkedIn to get these new roles. So we've been lucky enough to help enterprises create bot builders, process architects, bot architects, for example. And getting that mix right is extremely important for scaling and transforming the organization. Now, I've visited many customers. I've been with Automation Anywhere for close to 5 years now. I typically find that there are about 7 to 8 experts on the platform in a center of excellence. They sit around, but they sit in a conference room doing PowerPoints and decks. Now think about this, right? If you're a surgeon at a hospital, you're basically allowed to do just one thing and do it right. You have to perform surgeries, right? The CEO of the hospital would really want the surgeon to do more surgeries as this means more money. So when I walk through a customer's center of excellence, I see these 7 or 8 experts doing decks, but they should be onboarding their digital colleagues and nothing else instead of working on complex decks. So the business units really need to do their job right, which is what's transforming their enterprises, mainly on program governance, reviewing solution design. The centralized center of excellence really needs to focus on program design and execution, must have a robust team of architects and developers really to chug the program along. And finally, like I mentioned, the solution provider like us really are involved in making sure that you get a world-class product, more involved in product management, making sure the solution designs are correct, implementing best practices, and making sure that your program scales. So we looked at the approach, we looked at the operating models, looked at the team, which is an extremely important part for the blueprint. Let's look at the levers, which are also the final piece of the puzzle when you really are trying to implement a digital workforce in the enterprise. Now, think about this as a machine. Now, what are the inputs and outputs that you're really trying to control? Nothing new, right? You really have to figure out the leading indicators that you're trying to focus on so that you can really focus on the trailing indicators that you can deliver to your own leadership. So now there are several inputs, but we believe that there are really 4 of the right inputs to measure. Firstly, let's say the skills on who can manage the digital workforce platform. Secondly, the number of processes that's actually being run. Thirdly, are you truly using the entire technology stack? Are you using the bot store, for example, or are you just creating it from scratch? Are you using RPA plus artificial intelligence plus analytics? Now, what's your bot velocity finally? Now, measuring this goes a long way in a shared services organization, for example, and to the rest of your own organization, right? Now, if you do these 4, then the outputs really take care of themselves. Outputs, let's say, in terms of how your operations is shaping up, what capacity are you creating, what cost savings, let's say avoidance and reduction of errors mainly, and how are you improving customer experience by reducing cycle time? And these are the levers that you should actually manage. Now, there are many of our customers who use our blueprint, the 4 important factors that I've walked you through. Let me just highlight one of them. Large customer of ours, a top bank, $71 billion in assets, 30,000 employees. They have about 1,000 branches. One of the largest banks, these guys have achieved tremendous scale across their entire organization. They've currently implemented over 5,000 bots, about 15,000 processes today. They started out focusing on back office processes, really. They started out with credit review, collections and settlements, I think, as well. They then progressed to, let's say, advanced use of attended automation in their front office, including applications to cross-sell and make sure customer transactions in branches go without a hitch. Now, what happened in the bank is that the branch personnel have access to our attended automation in the front office, and they now complete time-consuming transactions like money transfers, for example. There are other employees who use digital signatures for processing documents received by email, and they receive a ton of them. They validate the digital signature, manage inconsistencies in the data, and assign necessary procedures based on correspondence of customer transactions. Now, they also use the digital workforce for validation and execution of transfer and delivery of foreign currency as well, extremely important. And they established a center of excellence to manage the program in a federated model. Now, we were able to deliver significant business impact. Like I mentioned, 5,000 bots, a 1,300% ROI in the first year, 19 million reduction in provisioning cost, and we were able to give them about $7 million in income from new revenue streams. Now, really, this related in an overall higher customer satisfaction. Now, why is customer satisfaction important? And that makes our customers successful. And we enable that through our customer success program at Automation Anywhere. At Automation Anywhere, really, we have a customer success program called A+, which provides an end-to-end 360-degree customer success program. It starts with a customer success manager. Every Automation Anywhere customer really is assigned a customer success head who really works with a customer to help them start, scale, and transform their business, really. Helps them through their entire journey. Now, to ensure that we're delivering on our promise, it's about reducing costs, really, drive faster time to value, and improve our customers' customer experience. We developed this program that provides the resources, tools, and we have a great community which helps you at every single step of the way. Now, every single customers of ours, they have access to our Automation Anywhere University. We actually provide instructor-led training, e-learning on how to build bots, and of course, certify you as well. We have a very good professional services team that provide industry expertise, technical consulting, for example, and overall product management and program management. We've been doing this for years. Now, our partner ecosystem really is extremely critical. We have about 2,000 partners, 700 plus systems integrators. Idexcel is one of them. We have a lot of global process outsources as well, which really help customers transform their digital transformation journey. I spoke about the private bot store, which really includes, let's say, ready to download digital workers spanning across, let's say, vertical solutions, cognitive solutions, analytics, and an opportunity for you. If you're a developer, it helps you and give you the opportunity to develop solutions which you can share internally or to your customers. And finally, as our customers make progress, we provide obviously 24/7/365 support, availability, help, escalations. Our A people community is a large community which provides vibrant collection of forums, online help, assistance, industry references, ton of documentation. Last but not the least, we have a ton of customer success engineers who collaborate with customers on beta testing, product roadmaps. So as you can see, we take our customer success seriously. We put in a lot of investment and resources around it as well. And it's extremely critical to make sure that our customers scale and transform. Now we've seen adoption expand over time, starting in the back office, reducing manual touch points to reduce cost, help speed up front-end applications by being able to quickly pull in customer accounts and transaction data from multiple systems into a single view, for example, in near real time. We're extremely happy to introduce NLP, character recognition, to detect fraud and suspicious activities in a lot of industries. We've been thriving on innovative products to deepen relationships based on the insights that we learn and review the vast amount of transactions and payments that take place on every single platform. The idea really is to free up people to use their time to focus more on value-added stuff and customer-facing activities rather than just mundane stuff. Now, it's great to say about this, right? It's a great blueprint, customer success program. But what are we doing additionally at Automation Anywhere, right? At Automation Anywhere, we really believe in falling in love with the problem, not the solution. Because we believe if you fall in love with the problem, the solution actually automatically takes care of itself. Now, the problem that we have fallen in love with is what would it really take for every company to become a digital enterprise? We've fallen in love with the problem, not the solution. Now, this is a problem that as a company, we are extremely passionate about. This is at the heart of everything we do. This is at the heart of the solution we make. And this is at the heart of the business strategy that we actually make today. And it's no wonder that we're the leading provider in this space, having been in this space for 15 plus years. We're a product company and we continue to innovate. What used to take, let's say, quite a bit of time to start an RPA program now is completely shrunk. We now have a program which can be, or a product and platform which can now be used pretty much by anyone. You could be a citizen developer, you could just be a developer, for example, or you could be IT. The digital workforce platform can pretty much automate anything, front office, back office, employee productivity solutions, like I mentioned. And the product really helps you implement a digital workforce solution anywhere. Could be on the cloud, could be on-prem, could be on your desktop, could be on your virtual machine, could be on your iPad. So what used to take 3 to 6 months to start now takes under 4 months, really. The problem of automation has always been a problem of time. With the Automation Anywhere digital workforce solutions, it is now possible to change that problem and fall in love with it. I don't know if you know Jack Cornfield. Jack said the trouble is that you think you have time. If you have not started, you're actually late. If you've started, I know some of you have. If you've started, if you have not moved forward to scaling your program, you will find out very soon that you're late. The power in our solution is that we've been able to shrink this to give you that advantage of time. Now, it's no longer about productivity. We've all been productive working from home for the last 7, 8 months. It's about progress. It's about how you are really progressing your enterprise. Have you really scaled up your RPA program that you've started? You're using a product today. Have you really used it for the full potential? Have you scaled up? Have you transformed? If not, you're behind. It's about progressing your enterprise. It's about progressing your customers. It's about progressing yourself and innovating, really. It's no longer about productivity, it's about progress. Now, we at Automation Anywhere have made significant progress in the last 15, 16 years, with the number of customers steadily growing, the channel ecosystem that we've been able to build, the number of employees that we currently have, the number of digital workers that we have actually deployed globally, a strong community that we have actually built, the number of people that we have trained and certified in our product, mind-boggling, and our global presence as well. So now in the digital enterprise era and the bot economy, right, that's what we call it, there is enough expertise out there in the market to help you if you have not started your journey, through our customers, through our partners. If you have not scaled up, you have us, you have our partners. Now, with all the expertise around, the only question that you will need to ask yourself today is, what role will you really play in this bold new bot economy, really? If you can really imagine a digital enterprise, do you really believe in the bot economy? You should really ask yourself, what role will you really play in this bold new bot economy when you go back to your own offices? Thank you, Megan, and over to you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. That was awesome. So for now, if there are any questions, feel free to go ahead and submit them to the Q&A, and we will address those as well. And then next up, we'll move on to the second part of our presentation, as well as the next round of polls. All right, we don't have any questions here on the Q&A, so we will keep moving forward. Vish, are you ready? Oh, perfect.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much, Ganesh. That was a fantastic presentation.
Really
I
great.
believe, yeah, we just want to quickly touch upon a point, Megan, before we proceed further.
Perfect.
Yeah, Idexcel would have sent you an email for you to set your system up for the lab session that we have coming later in the day. I just want to quickly walk you guys through the lab setup if you have not had a chance to look at it. There's also a break that we specifically have, keeping this in mind for you to ensure that your lab setup is done, so that you can follow up us on how we are going to build the bot. If in case you do not have a chance to do this today, I mean, these guides are always here with you because we've already sent it over to you in your email. You can follow the lab setup any point of time, and you can start building your bots. And just as what Ganesh mentioned, there's a fantastic community out there with Automation Anywhere, which guides you on building bots very easily. So that's something that I just want to quickly touch upon. I think just quick comment. Okay, registration is quick. You have a specific link where you can get started with the community edition. Of course, we want you to use the community edition for the to begin with. Once you provide your credentials and details, I think you get a notification, and you just have to download an agent, which helps you to get access to the control room. And I think all of the steps are pretty very clear here and mentioned precisely. You just have to follow through, and I think please sign up as a single user. That's another important thing that we want to mention. And please always use the link that you get, that you get from your email, because that link is specifically meant for you. So these are the important things that we wanted to let you know before we begin our presentation. Let us know in case there's any questions. We do have assistants over the chat for us to help you in setting up your bot. In case you do not have a Windows-based system, there is an additional step that you would have to do. We are partners with AWS as well as with Automation Anywhere, and AWS provides something called as Workspaces, which is a fantastic system for you to utilize in case for you to quickly launch a Windows-based system and run the bot from there. Okay, thanks. I think I'll quickly move on to my slides now.
Yep. And we've got one more poll. Hold on one second. So I'm seeing a couple of folks, but it's showing up as anonymous attendees. If you want to respond back and provide your, or send me a chat directly and provide your email, we'll make sure that that gets sent over. So just a really quick housekeeping thing. And then my email is also available in the chat. So if you want to email me directly, then I will be able to send you the lab setup details. All right. Let's see this one. Just going through the questions really quick that were here. All right, so we're gonna do the next poll. And this is really about assessment readiness. So this is, are you looking for an assessment to understand if an automation solution can be applied to your business challenge? So I'll leave this up for 30 seconds or so. Answers piling in, thanks guys. It ties right back, some of these answers tie right back to that readiness slide and where people are in their journeys. So this is interesting. I'm gonna give it about 10 more seconds and then I'll let you guys know what the results were. So 14% said yes, and this is one that a couple of folks you could vote a couple of times depending on the answer. It could be two, but 71% said not yet. So they're on that beginning part of that scale, and then 14% also said unsure. All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Megan. I think we can get started.
Yeah, go for it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll get started with a quick brief history of automation and where we are with Automation Anywhere and the bot and the whole RPA bot as such. So the term automation was coined around the 1930s, where it was where it was initially. I'm sure most of you, if you can just Google around, you understand it is it has a good background. I think until 1947, it was not widely used. It was Henry Ford who set up an automobile automation lab at Ford, of course, and I think that's a time in which precisely the automation as a word started getting some traction and slowly started getting momentum. So all the way up to 1980 and 1990, there were several industrial automations that was going on throughout. Some of the key automation, I think one of them to definitely mention is thermostats. Introduction of logic boards brought in some automation. Sensors in combination with logic boards was also helpful for automation, and so that's generally how automation started evolving. Computer systems started getting the automation attack probably from the software side, where a lot of softwares that were developed had inbuilt automation options. People had to code specifically within the computer program for them to be able to automate. So this required kind of an automation, for you to do at the software program level. I mean, that was not that easy then, and there was not really an option for you to transfer your automation from one system that you have built into another system, and so on and so forth. And then came Excel Macro, which was a cornerstone and definitely an important thing for us to mention about automation. Programming. I think it's typically like a record and playback tool that simply records your Excel tools, and later on you can play back. So this kind of save time primarily for several repetitive tasks within an Excel file, and that's how things moved on. I think though the technology was available earlier as different components, I think RPA as a word was first coined back in around the 2000s, and 2003 started the introduction of bots. And in fact, it's a very interesting story as to how Automation Anywhere evolved. I'm sure you please do take some time to go have a look at it, where Automation Anywhere was originally founded as Thetis Soft Solutions based out of California. And then today they are now one of the leading automation platform providers. With the introduction of bots, a lot of bots that were developed were not automated bot. I mean, it required a manual trigger, and yeah, we call it as unassisted bots today, and that was how it started. The very innovation with the robotic process automation, specifically with Automation Anywhere, is the concept that it captures what's happening on your screen, and it's just able to replicate any number of times without without a specific system boundary. Can do it on the cloud. It's simply groundbreaking. I mean, I think no other system can consider automation or conceptualize automation at this level before Automation Anywhere had introduced RPA bots. I think initially it started off with doing automation for applications, automation on emails, a kind of extraction of information, some amount of screen scraping, and yeah. But today, with the innovation that is led in the AI and machine learning space, AI and machine learning plus RPA is a very powerful combination, and Automation Anywhere has several AI and machine learning automation options that you have that will help you to kind of get you started and move really fast. An essential part of this, people now do call something called as a hyper automation, which is something that is now become a common term where application of advanced technologies like robotic process automation, AI, machine learning, to specifically augment workers and the automate process in such a way that it's indistinguishable between a human doing a job and bot doing a job. So with this came digital workers as a terminology, and one of the things that you would find in a lot of places, if you do go through Automation Anywhere website, is Automation Anywhere definitely looks at a digital worker as another employee, and there are companies who do say that the total number of employees is X number of members, and the total digital workers is about another percentage. So that's how significant digital workers are, and how that's the difference that Automation Anywhere has been able to make for several enterprises. So moving on further, why do we need robotic process automation in the first place, and why do we need it? Why do we need it now? And there was a specific slide from Ganesh talking about if you need to start now, right? And we'll look at it from the current scenario that we are in. Of course, as Ganesh informed, that we're in the middle of the pandemic, and this is like a unique opportunity for us to evaluate areas of automation, for us to restructure our whole work as such, and then come back to ensure that we have an organization which is future proof, right? Typically, hardships brought about by global events like this are often times where there are several innovations that are born probably out of necessity. right? It just makes everybody to start thinking that we need to be able to do more with less, and we need to become efficient and things like that. So these are all things that things do come in mind at situations like this. One of the important example, and absolutely, there's no better example that I can quote as to what Amazon did and how Amazon approached the dot-com crash back in the 2000s, which kind of with which they kind of revised their business model, and today they've reached uh, enormous success as a result of that. So yeah, this is an opportunity. Why now? Because this is an opportunity. And the key for all this, for us to be able to achieve all this now, is automation, right? Automation is simply the need of the hour. So every company has its own core business functions, and when the pandemic did hit, several global operations came to a halt. Except for companies, and fortunately, like what I'm working, and other software organizations and several other organizations were able to continue on a remote scale. Um, I think a lot of global operations were hit. I'm sure you would have seen in the news every day that some of the businesses that were shut down and things like that. So uh, with continuous investments that's going on in the space of the AI and machine learning, key innovations will always be increasing, and capabilities, which includes RPA plus AI and ML, will always be increasing. So the key advantages that we are talking about, efficiency gains and sorry. So the key advantages that we're talking about, like efficiency gains, higher performance, availability, error-free, cost reduction, are now kind of the need of the hour, and it is like a necessity. Um, so one of the recent reports that I read, which was published by PwC, which is the COVID-19 CFO survey, indicated that you know uh, having employees to return back to work will kind of raise the infection levels. So to help transition to safer workplaces, they were almost half of the CFOs did inform that accelerated automation and new ways of working are the key to get back to the normal, right? Um, so and everybody must be thinking of automation, that there is a downside, and there should be so let's say, okay, we all now understand how important automation is, and let's say you think about getting started, right? You may now think that okay, how am I going to improve infrastructure is a thing that I have to look through, and that's exactly where cloud comes into picture. Since Idexcel works with AWS, and Automation Anywhere as a platform also works with AWS, so we at Idexcel will be able to help set up your RPA practice. I mean, this is specifically what Ganesh did mention about a hybrid model. And so the A2019, which is the Automation Anyways, latest flavor, loves cloud, and it's cloud native, which is an RPA platform for any business, whether it is retail, banking, and I mean any of the verticals that you can imagine. So and with AWS, you also have an option for you to bring your own license. So there's not a separate cost for for the license that is being charged when you go cloud first. So in fact, one of the testimony that I would want to refer back to Ganesh's slide is one of his slides that was showing a chart in terms of the dollar that you get back for everything that you spend on Automation Anywhere, and also being cloud native. So software automation in these days does not help at all. So yeah, please don't go there. I think robotic process automation has already been going. I think we saw several popular brands already being there, and if we do not start now, we're definitely going to be late. Okay. So how is RPA, in comparison to traditional automation? Like, why are we so stressing about it? Is what I want to quickly give you a glance. So in terms of functionality, in traditional automation, there's only a segment which we can automate using software code. That's also within a specific module and things like that. But with RPA, we have connectors which can help, pipe in multiple automations across. I think that's like a very important point. What are the ways in which we can automate is also something, um, how it is different with the traditional automation against RPA, right? In fact, a lot of times, if there's a software that we are using, we're probably at the mercy of the provider to provide us automation functionality. But you don't need that now, because you have Automation Anywhere, which can literally capture your screen and replicate something that is manual and repetitive. So another important thing for businesses is to, so let's say you take a decision, or you make a decision to go with an RPA. One of the questions that you would be thinking is, what is my time to integrate? I mean, what are my integration challenges? With the traditional automation, that's an absolutely important question. But with Automation Anywhere, RPA, integration is seamless, because I think there were several instances in which Ganesh mentioned a customer is the focus of, is at the center of automation platform development. So I think there are various customizations that can be placed right at the customer touch points, which will enable automation to be absolutely seamless. Okay, so once you get started, you may also wonder, okay, what if I want to scale? How is scalability, possible as such? So I think that's also something Ganesh covered. With the traditional automation, scalability is a question. I think with your business, when your business grows, your need for automation definitely grows, because the expectation is already set, and you have already implemented automation as a business, and you would think that, okay, what's next for me to automate, right? And this is precisely where cloud and AWS cloud and Automation Anywhere come in hand for you to ensure that scalability is not a worrying factor at all. I think another important factor with the traditional automation is, it only kind of accepts readable inputs, but that's not an issue at all, right? There's absolutely no bottleneck. Any kind of input that you can ensure that you would be able to digitize it, but by even having a camera to pick up the information, that's absolutely sufficient for you to take it as an input, and your automation is already started, right? I think for several enterprises and organizations, you also would want to know, you would want to largely take control once you set up the automation, right? With the traditional automation, you would have to build in log systems and things like that. But with Automation Anyways RPA, you have a full-fledged audit trail, you have security around it, and you have analytics around it. And there's a lot of things that you have as advantage, which you probably would not find in any other platform, right? So and the essential things in terms of logging is, you can enable monitoring tools to identify, if there is an error message in your control room, you would be able to identify that. These can kind of help you identify the locations which are failing. Automation Anywhere Enterprise Platform also provides a comprehensive and centralized audit logging of all automation activities, specifically which requires some authorization by users. You have something which is very specific, which is role-based access control. I think we'll talk about it when it comes to security. And So everything is captured and everything is available at your disposal for you to use it when you want, right? That's the beauty of Automation Anywhere and the latest RPA solution that you have. So moving further, I think we have discussed enough to convince you that robotic process automation is really important, and automation anywhere as a platform is simply fantastic. So what's Idexcel's invisible automation then, right? So we are partners with Automation Anywhere, and in the current days of automation with AI, there are several automations that are literally possible. I think we'll discuss about it. The new A2019 IQ bots that are available will kind of let you to combine AI and machine learning workflows, throughout your automation workflow. And just like how there's an app for everything, there'll soon be a bot for everything now. I think everybody, everybody kind of agree that this is how things were when probably the smartphone was introduced, right? Um Robotic process automation software is like a bot that enables you to create an augmented versions of a worker to complete task, on your behalf, right? So Idexcel's invisible automation simply helps its customers to do the same, right? Besides, there are instances where there may be some automation that would require beyond the AI and ML capabilities that are available in the IQ bot. I mean, that's really comprehensive. But if there is something that you would want to customize, that's when Idexcel comes into picture to build custom bots with custom AI and ML solutions. Sometimes the IQ bots that are available with automation in the Automation Anywhere, maybe just not enough, or there are also instances where you may encounter that it is a little too much, right? And that's exactly where we'd be able to build custom bots, and include it in your framework. Um, so this is the whole ecosystem then boils down to having you a digital worker in the cloud. Eventually, we believe, just like Automation Anywhere and AWS, we believe cloud first, and that's exactly what we always practice. Um, it's always secure and always in control. And when you opt to have a customized bot and a customized automation workflow, we ensure that explainability of AI is at its core, right? There are several enterprises where I think we'll discuss more in the coming slides. Where explainable AI is very, very, very important. I think let's move on to our next slide. So that's a quick introduction to Idexcel's invisible automation. So what do we do? What do we do in the invisible automation lifecycle? I think this is an important slide for a lot of you. So we start with building a bots with a specific approach, right? So we start with an analysis stage where we kind of begin with the feasibility analysis to understand if the process is appropriate, if it can bring an ROI for you to get in the automation space. Would it help you realize the gains? And there are instances where we certainly help customers to standardize an existing process to enable it to be automated by an automation or anywhere platform or sorts, right? So there are several instances where we have some part of our workflow which may not be ready yet, but that's okay. We definitely help you in setting up that standardization and bringing it to be automation ready. That's what we call. So that's one of our first steps. I think the next step is we begin the design of the automation, which will be suitable for customers. Again, just like Automation Anywhere, we ensure that the customer is at the middle of everything that we do. We kind of give you an overview of the complete bot architecture. We consult with you. We come to an agreement, and then we build our bots. We always ensure to build bots in such a way that it is also scalable, right? We identify the right platform for you. Do you need a custom bot? Sorry, do you need a custom AI ML solution, or you could use the existing IQ bot or things like that. So we would do all that for you, right? And then we jump right into builder automation, right? So there are broadly two categories of approach for automation. One is deterministic in nature, where the steps for automation or the process flow that we're trying to automate is fixed, and it always has step 1 to step 2 all the way up to step 10. That's deterministic, approach, and the other one is intelligent approach. So this is where there's some amount of AI and machine learning are required to be in, to so based on the input, it should help you dynamically decide the next step. That's exactly where intelligent bots come into picture. And yeah, so like I mentioned, we could do this with IQ bots, or if there's something that is custom and very, very specific that you would want, we could build a machine learning model, have automation anywhere, connect with the APIs, and receive the response back from the APIs, and we would be able to beautifully customize it, right? And then once we build the bot, definitely there's a quick, period where we kind of optimize the bots to ensure that we have a very high, very good performance overall, right? In terms of in terms of optimization, the specific thing that we are mentioning here is that we try to ensure that there is if there is a need for a manual rule that has to be included or some kind of an exception that has to be handled, we ensure that it is taken care of, so that there's always a full-scale automation that's at your disposal. And if there's a necessity, yeah, I think a lot of times it does require, where the machine learning model or the AI system that is trying to predict the output needs additional training. This is exactly where we do the machine learning based learning for the system to happen. And once it's all done, I think there's typically like a cushion period where we ensure and build the bots, and we kind of observe the results. We evaluate the bot performance using specific metrics like what is the time taken for execution, if it's acceptable within the limits that the business requires, what is the number of automations that it performs, what is the performance of the bot in terms of uptime, if it's an unattended bot, and if it is an attended bot, is there a way in which we can kind of make it unattended, and so on and so forth. And of course, some of the important things that we also measure during this stage is we evaluate some of the accuracy metrics if there is a intelligent AI and ML solution, interfacing it. And then once we do all that, we kind of observe and examine the logs that are available from the bot. And towards the end, when there is an AI solution that is involved, I think we ensure that we then tweak the bot to ensure that we understand why a bot did what it did, right? If there's a decision that is made, why did it take the decision? We specifically call this as human in the loop procedure, especially when it requires for somebody to kind of review what's happening. And the cycle starts again, right? I mean, the beginning of one bot is always the end of one bot is definitely an opportunity for us to improve in the next one, or even extend the existing bot to increase the capability in terms of the workflow that it can handle. So this is typically our entire invisible automation lifecycle, where we continuously strive to improve and automate as much as possible. So how do you identify automation? I mean, what process do we automate? I think as Ganesh just mentioned, this is a very important question. And we have a high level procedure which we follow to ensure the correct process is selected for automation. But most importantly, there's already a solution that's available in the Automation Anywhere too, which will kind of help you to do this, which is bot discovery. To begin with, we ensure if the process is one of the following types, right? We ensure it is if the process that you want to automate it is repetitive in nature, whether there's a manual set of steps, if there are simple decisions that are required to be made, or if there's a series of logical steps that are there, and processes that can be defined using a set of rules. So for processes that does not fall in any of the categories, which are something like this is just a one-off manual step, which is if it is non-repetitive in nature, then that's not something that we would want to automate, and that's not a right process for us to begin with. I think it also does not make sense to include something that that probably does not make sense to automate if there's very random in nature. That's not something that we would want to automate. But you should always remember that it is always important to see it's always important to see a pattern through noise, right? And that's where discovery bot from Automation Anywhere will always will really help us to identify processes that can be automated. I think that's like a fantastic solution that we have, which we would be using it at disposal for several customers. Once you have identified the process, I think you've crossed the first step, right? And once you've identified the process, what can be what is the input, or what is it that we need to feed to the bot to get started? That's literally anything and everything, right? And if you do not have a way in which the information is flowing through in a digital manner, you just simply go ahead and digitize it and then come back and feed it to the automation assets, platform assets. I think anything and everything can be digitized today, and we definitely can take any kind of input. And one thing to keep in mind that if there are not standard process flow, then we help standardize the processes, and there are several mechanisms that we have in place to help you standardize the processes. And another important note that should be always considered is if the system where we would want to automate is not stable enough, right? For instance, an unstable system which provides input, if it's completely random in nature, you end up with an unstable automation. Or if there's a system change that you are seeing in the near future, I think you should go ahead and evaluate what is the time frame and what is the business impact that you're going to have now, and then take a decision whether you would want to automate now or revisit later. But I think if all the bots are if all the boxes are checked, then I think it's time to go ahead and build your bot, which Automation Anywhere, we along with Automation Anywhere, we call it as your first digital worker, right? So I think that's exactly how we would go. And so the next slide is something that is very important for us at the core of the services that we offer. So just like us, I think Automation Anywhere also ensures that system security is at the core of its offerings, and there is audit available, there is security available, and things like that. So in terms of encryptions, I think everything around the bot is secure, and they are encrypted. Transmission of data, which is communicated between automation processes, between the server and the agent, and if there's anything, all your logs. If there's a custom bot that we build for you, communication between the bot and the machine learning model using the API, they are encrypted, and everything is absolutely secure. And as it rightly says, it is an industry-leading encryption that protects your data and everything around it. So you also can gain finer role-based access control, and along with automation anyway, we call it as RBAC. You can identify who can have access for what, and clearly distinguish as to who can see which part of the information, along with secure access. Um, audit audit completeness is very essential for those customers where compliance is of the utmost importance, and I think that's something that is already taken care. Audit trail is always available for you to go back and track and understand what happened in finer details. So bot lifecycle management. So bot development is like you developing a software. There are security practices around it. There are best software development practices around it. So there's absolutely nothing can go wrong. And there's several. All of these are kind of ingrained in the Automation Anywhere platform, and there's absolutely no issue around any of this. So we look at a couple of use cases that we have been working on, and each of these use cases are at different level of maturity, from conceptualization all the way up to a POC and things like that. So the first one that we would want to discuss is about a commercial and personal banking customer for whom we are building bot solutions around the loan origination system. So as we see, I mean, the key things that we are helping this customer in around the loan origination system is to help their overall digitization efforts, right? So loan input document processing is something that we begin with. Triaging of the loan for proper approval, sending email between business units to gather what's required, identifying criterias. All these are like so if you look at it carefully, and if you sit around, if you do a brainstorming, these are specific set of emails and documents that has to pass between different departments. So I think we take care of that. And once everything is done, once the loan is all done and approved, disbursement notifications and things like that is also something that we help our customers. And once the fund is utilized, payment reminders for customers is a very important thing. So it's always good for us to help customers by posting a quick reminder to them. And after all this, I think there are also opportunities that we're kind of conceptualizing to help them in their customer engagement overall. So just to ensure and help have the customer experience better. So for one of the insurance firm, claims straight through processing is something on the claims management side. Claims straight through processing is something that we are we are working with. Just to give you a quick note there, a lot of these claims would not have to be even looked up if the necessary details are there, and if the value of the claim is at below a particular threshold, it just can simply be approved automatically using a bot without having to look at the details. And triaging of the claims at the right time is another area of opportunity. Estimation of claims using several different AI and machine learning techniques, based on the first notification of loss, and then things of that is something that we believe automation is essential there. And of course, customer sentiment analysis. What is the pulse of the customer? Because there are several channels that customers today has for communication. I think in one of the slides that Ganesh mentioned, some of these companies have thousands of apps, and every app that is hosted is either in an app store or in a Google Play Store. It's literally not possible for a human to keep a tab of every review that is being posted, and what does the social media talk about it and things like that. So we call it as a 360 customer survey, and Automation Anywhere RPA will simply help us to determine all that, and keep things in tab at the right moment. So one of the public sector customer, which for whom we have worked, for whom we are conceptualizing in the procurement and financial system, is for quote and vendor validation. I mean, this is very important with procurements. You need to be able to understand if the quote is an underestimate or an overestimate. You need to be able to validate if the vendor who's applying for it, has the credentials for them to do the specific work that's required. Accounts payable and reconciliation, that's a lot of back office work. Reconciling the payments, proof of payment and things like that. And account payable, I'm sure I don't even have to name. There are like several use cases there. Order processing and reporting is another very important thing. And last but not least is journal management, which is like really useful for us to automate as such. So this is some of the use cases that just wanted to bring it to your attention. And I think over to you, Megan, to start off with the next poll.
Great,
Yeah,
thank you.
Fantastic, thank you.
Perfect. So this is about invisible automation readiness. Are you looking to implement an invisible automation solution in your organization? We'll give 30 seconds or so for this poll. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this in about 10 seconds. So go ahead and get your responses in. All right, thank you. So 67% are just starting the discovery phase now, and 33% are not really looking to do an AI-powered automation solution. And another 25% have already implemented. All right, thank you. So now we'll move on to what the implementation challenges are. So what challenges or impediments is your organization experiencing trying to implement an automated solution? I'll leave this up for about 30 seconds. All right, so I'll end this poll in about 10 seconds. All right. Ooh. So the challenges and impediments, this is actually quite a bit. So there's a variety of them: lack of skilled resources, lack of business use case. 25% of you said lack of skilled resources, 50% lack of business use case, 50% also said technical challenges were causing an impediment. 25% it's the wrong solution or your current solution does not work. And 50% of you said budget constraints, while 25% said other as well. So thank you guys for participating in that poll. Now is an opportunity for another round of Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and add them to the Q&A function and feature.
Yeah, happy to take the Q&A.
doesn't look like we've got any coming in, but we'll definitely keep that open and keep an eye on it as we continue through.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're just going to go ahead and take about a 10-minute break so that way we can wrap up earlier and give you back some of the time, give the attendees back some of your time for the middle of the day. So if you want to come back at exactly 12:45, then we'll go ahead and get started with the lab session and the demo. Thank you all so much. We'll see you guys again in 10. All right, and we are back now for the next round, the lab session and the demo.
Okay, so for this lab session, we're going to help you or show you how to build a simple bot. It's something that I would be bringing in my colleague Aditya. And Aditya, you can start sharing your screen, and we can walk through on how do we build the first bot.
A warm welcome again. And this is our community edition, Automation Anywhere 2019. And here we are going to showcase how we are going to easily and quickly create our bots and that will help you to automate your existing business processes. And along with that, giving you the correct ROI on top of it, or whatever you're investing on the Automation Anywhere licenses or the other services you are procuring from Idexcel. So today we are going to create two bots as in demo. One is pretty simple. That will include a message box saying, "Hello, Automation Anywhere." The other one will be a little difficult. So obviously, we will be ensuring that we are walking you through with each and every steps so that it will help you out in identifying that how easy it is and how quickly you can do it.
Yeah. So most importantly, what we'd also want to let you know is along with the earlier email that we referred to, where it will help you to set up the A2019 for you to gain access to A2019 platform, community edition, and for you to start building these bots. The lab session bot building guide is also available for you to refer. And if you, by any chance, are not able to get started now, I think you can always go back and refer to the guide and build the bot in your own time. Okay, so we'll get started with the first bot. I think you start off by clicking on create a bot.
Create a bot. And here we can actually put on a name, a specific name that you want to give to that bot. So let's say that I want to put the hello automation. So this is an optional field. Here you can mention that what kind of processes you are going to automate with this specific bot. But as I'm not putting up anything, so it's okay. So you can see that we have certain panes available. On the left-hand side, we have action pane. So here you can use this particular search option to search out all the available actions, and it's going to showcase all the data against this specific search. So here I'm going to put as message box. So I got this particular control on the action pane. So what I will do is that I will simply drag and drop it in between the workflow so that I can do the editing of certain actions that it need to perform. So here I want to showcase a message that is hello automation anywhere. And you just click on save, give it a try, click on run. It will deploy your bot on the system. It may take some time depending on what's your. So here we are. So it's a very simple bot. I assume that everybody can see that I got a message as is in message box. Hello automation anywhere. Click on close. It will showcase that your bot has run successfully. That's the easy one, right? Now let's move on to something little difficult. Go back to home page. Again, click on create a bot. Here, what I want to do is that I want to scrap certain data from a website, and that website is kind of dynamic because it contains a list of all the COVID-19 numbers all over the world. So let's say that web scrap. I got a website for you that is going to list down all the COVID-19 cases, current cases, death, recovered, and along with that, it's gonna give me a table. So here we go. So this is going to give me the table from all over the world. I want to fetch the data from all this specific table, and I want to use it into some other processes. So what I will do is that I will simply go over to my workflow. I will search out a specific action that is a recorder. This particular action will actually help you in getting the data from that specific website. On the right-hand side pane, you can see that we have object detail. For that, I have to click it and then click on this drop-down button. Here you can see that what are the current active desktop and taskbars. So to get the other available windows from the system, you have to click on refresh. Now you will see this particular website that is opened up for you. I want to capture the table from this particular page. So I will click on capture. I will move my cursor over to this specific table area, and I can see that it's got highlighted. Just click over here, a left click, and it's going to capture all the data from this particular section. So here you see that we have an HTML tag starting from table. So that means we got the correct section of that specific page. Scroll down. You see there are certain other actions associated with this particular control. So this is a get table because we are trying to get the data from that specific table. Now we have what I want to do is that I want to place this particular data into a CSV file. So what I will be doing is that I will click on create variable, and I will assign a specific variable name. Click on create. Now I want to publish this data into a CSV file. So I will again go back to my action pane. I will search out write to file action from this pane. Again, drag and drop it into my main workflow. Now you see that we have a data table name, and the variable name that I created for this particular flow is available over here. So just choose your variable. And here it's giving me the option to enter file name where I can place up all the data. So what I will do is that I will simply CSV file. Click on save. And you're good to go. Click on run so that it can fetch the data from that specific page and publish it into your CSV file. Now this bot has executed successfully. I can go to my page that I created, open up my CSV file, so you can see that I was able to fetch the required data from that website, and I can use it for further processing. So this is not very hard, but still very good. I assume that everybody can give it a try.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you so much. I think so. This is only a bot for you to get started with. There are, of course, yeah. We believe that you would be building much more sophisticated bots, and there are like several user guides available for you throughout the Automation Anywhere community. There are guides for you on how to go ahead and do a specific thing. Yeah, but this is just for you to get started. So we just now have the next bot that we want to show you, which we have built as a demo that we want to show you. So for that, I'm going to share my screen now, and I'm just going to quickly run you all through a quick video on what we've built. Should be able to. Okay, so this is an automation which we have tried to accomplish for us to automatically read invoices, apply machine learning because these are scanned invoices, and extract information and put the information into a specific Excel in a template. So what you see here, what you saw was an inbox in which there was no email, and there was an email with a couple of attachments, which are, of course, invoices that that came here, and these invoices is something that we fabricated with data. And the moment you start running the bot goes ahead and fetches the email, downloads the invoices in a specific folder, and then calls the AI and machine learning IQ bot, which can go ahead and extract information. So you see that there is a blank output file which has got 4 important components, which are invoice name, invoice number, invoice date, and total. You would see this filling up. So there's a lot of customization that we would be able to add on top of an existing OCR solution that you can directly take from IQBot. And yeah, since we have been dealing with invoices and we've been dealing with information extraction in general, we have learned one of the key things for you to be able to extract information accurately is some amount of pre-processing that you have to do. Apart from the capability of the bots to go ahead and extract information from your invoices, the moment that there's a new file, we would be able to trigger a program to go ahead and do the pre-processing and place that pre-processed input now to be received by the OCR software, which in turn increases the accuracy of extraction significantly better. I mean, the gains that we would be able to see is much more significant. So as we see here, the first invoice is extracted. We had a couple of invoices in the email attachment. The first email is extracted. There was a specific invoice name. There was an invoice number and a date and a total invoice amount attached to it. So this can significantly reduce a lot of back office work, which is in the accounts payable, account receivable side, where there are further where there's a lot of work that is going on, which is manually verifying of invoices and things like that, reconciliations in general. I think, yeah, that's something that we wanted to demo to you. Just going to forward it so that you see that the second invoice was also extracted, and the output is available for you. So that's exactly what we're capable of, and I think what we showed to you. So cool. I think we'll quickly move on to a Q&A. We also did finish our demo. If there's any Q&A, happy to take it up and answer for you guys.
I don't see any questions coming in. So it looks like we're good to go.
Okay. So in that case, I think thank you all very much for joining us today. And I hope you did get to learn as to how do you get started with Automation Anywhere and RPA. I believe there's a quick question.
We did get, yep, I was just, yep, if you want to go ahead and take a look and address it, feel free. We also have a survey that's going to show up at the end of this. If you guys don't mind taking about 2 minutes, should be pretty quick. We will also send out a follow-up link tomorrow with the survey as well, so you can have another opportunity to take it.
Okay. Is AI only available with enterprise versions? I think there is some amount of AI based bots available in the community editions too, but any of you, these are only things that you'd be able to experiment. Community edition, as it says, these bots cannot be deployed in your production per se. So I think, yeah, but definitely for you to go ahead and experiment. I think there is some amount of IQ. I think AI based bots available in the community edition too.
All right, great. Any
Okay,
more questions?
yes.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We were really, really excited to have you. Please fill out the survey if you have a moment. When I end this, it'll show up right in the browser. We'll also, like I said, send that again tomorrow, as well as a follow-up opportunity. And we'll also include the link to our YouTube posting of this once we get the video of recording uploaded as well. Thank you again, and don't feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions. And you can also visit our contact page, etc. So let us know if you have any questions, and we're happy to help.
Thank you so much. Bye.